everyone, welcome to Homeschool with Hafele. Here you will learn the best use of your quarantine time while having fun at it. This is Nidhi Mohan Kamal, nutritionist and fitness trainer. Is working for long hours from your home office causing havoc on your back and you're feeling too lazy to work out? Don't worry, in this class I have the exact thing that you need. Some yoga poses to relax your body, calm your mind, and energize your soul. So let's get straight into it. So for today's yoga practice, all you would need is a few blocks, or you could use 2 books instead of blocks. I am sitting on one. This can be useful for even sitting up straight. And if you have knee issues or your knees hurt or your mat is thin, you could use a pad or a thick towel to keep under your knees so that you have enough cushioning there. So the first thing we'll do is sit up straight. I'm going to use a block to show you how to. If you have trouble crossing your legs, this could be really helpful to sit up straight on a block or 2 books. So first thing we'll do is get our intention into the class. So I want you to deep breathe here, but sit up straight with your spine erect, shoulders roll back, chest out, keeping one hand on the chest and the other one on the stomach. We're going to have 3 long inhales and exhales, and remember to actively engage your diaphragm and move it up and down when you're exhaling. So when you're exhaling, move your diaphragm. When you're inhaling, try to expand your chest as well as your stomach. And on an exhale, not only exhaling from the chest, we use our diaphragm to actively push our abdomen towards the spine and use the full lung capacity. So let's go ahead and do that. So inhale into the chest, into the stomach, exhale. And I'm using the back of my throat and constricting it to make that sound at the back of my throat. That would help you immensely during the yoga practice as well. So let's do 4 more breaths together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Get your intention into the practice, into your body. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze that stomach towards the spine. Hold it for 1 second and inhale. Exhale. And release. Now from here, we're going to start gently opening up our spine. Sitting in the same position as you're sitting, so I'm going to just move to the side to give you a better look. Sitting in the same position, keeping our hands on the knees, we're going to exhale, curl our upper back, engage our core, push our stomach towards the spine, and on an inhale from here, I'm going to lead from my chest out, dropping my neck at the back. I'm going to be in this position. So let's do it 5 times. So inhaling, so come back to neutral. Inhale, chest out, look up, expand, exhale. Curl your upper back, hold your core here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, chest out, look up, open that upper thoracic, exhale, engage your core, push from your arms in, arch that upper back. Last one time, inhale, chest out, look up, drop your neck back, exhale. And come to neutral. Now for the next one, we will lie down on our mat. So this is called happy baby pose. It's a very, very, very simple inversion. You could do it any time of the day. So I would lie down with my back flush to the ground. So notice there is a space when you're lying down in your lower back. I need to flush my lower back and make sure that there's no space. From here, I'm gonna extend my feet up and catch hold of my big toe, bending my knees. Now, if this is too hard for you, you could always use a towel around both, or a towel or an old t-shirt around both your feet to kind of catch hold of them. But since I'm flexible, I'm gonna catch hold of my big toes like so. So using my index finger and middle finger around my big toe, I'm gonna catch hold of my big toe. And now here, the idea is just to let go. So I'm gonna breathe deeply here, many breaths. So for the length of this class, we keep it to 5 breaths, but I recommend that you do at least 10 to 15 in your daily practice. So yeah, let's do 5 breaths here, the same breaths. We're gonna inhale deeply and exhale. And every time I'm exhaling, I'm gonna push my feet down towards the mat using the strength in my arms and my shoulders. Again, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Keep pushing those legs down and opening up those hips. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Last one time. Inhale, exhale. Now, as you get comfortable, and if you can, catch outside of your feet. And in this position, I'm going to just rock from one side to the other. So no struggle here, just letting your body go, just letting it loose and rock from one side to another side. And you would notice as you're doing this, your hips are opening up and the tension in your lower body is releasing. So again, you could do this for a couple of breaths when you're doing your actual practice. But here I'm going to do 10 rocks and stop. So 2 more rocks. And release. So from here now, I want you to fold your legs, bring your knees to the chest, lift your head up and stay here for 5 breaths. 1, 2. Use your core to lift up your neck, and don't put stress on your neck, but just make sure that you're using your core to lift up that upper body. And that's 4. And last one, 5. And release, drop your legs. Next, we will be going into the bridge pose. Now, if you've never attempted it and your core and your back feels weak, you are more than welcome to use blocks or books for the same. So, keeping my heels as close to the hips as possible, I'm going to lift my pelvis up. Now, if this is too much for you, you have your blocks or your books on you, you could keep using the blocks to lift up. So I'm going to keep the block this way. I'm keeping it on my lumbar to support my back. And this is where we stay. And we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Now, if you feel like supporting your back with your arms, that's also okay. But if you can let them go and drop it down and let the weight drop on your shoulders, just like so. Cross your hands at the back and breathe. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you've gotten comfortable here, which I'm assuming that you will, after 5 breaths, you can lift one leg up. If this much lift is possible, that's good. If you can extend your leg all the way up, that's even better. So I'm going to stay in here in the folded position, and we stay here for again 5 breaths on each side. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. And gently drop it back. Lift up on the other side and hold it. And 2, and 3, and 4. Last one. And release. And gradually Gently remove the block and come back. Lift your legs, bring them to your chest. Lift your head, one breath. And release. Now the next one is Vipreet Karni. Now if you feel that you can do it without the wall, it's well and good. If you feel that you need to use a wall for it, you're more than welcome to use a wall. So if you're using a wall to do that, just make sure that your bum is as close to the wall as possible, and then you lift up, and then you'll have to kind of adjust to go all the way touching the wall. Everything down my navel is flexed, so my hips are flexed, my hamstrings are flexed, my quadriceps are flexed, my calves are flexed, my feet are flexed, and we're gonna stay here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a really relaxing pose to also release anxiety. So anytime during the day if you're feeling too anxious and too overwhelmed with something, you can always hold this pose for a couple of minutes and just breathe, and you'll instantly feel better. So let's get into the next pose. I'm gonna come back. The next pose is very simple. It's the forward fold. So for this one, I want you to sit with your legs extended in front of you. Adjust your sit bones to find that space where both your hips are planted. Now from here, we're gonna raise our arms up, find that length in our spine, and start bending forward to come all the way to your toes. Now I know for a lot of you, getting to all the way to the toes could be tough. So you could be somewhere here, and we could bend from here and rise up. But I would highly recommend that you try to go all the way using an old cloth or a belt or a towel. So if you can't reach all the way to your toes, just put a belt across your feet. And from here, I want you to roll your shoulders back with your chest out. Inhale and rise up, and bending from the hip. I'm not bending from my upper back. I'm gonna bend from my hip as far down as I can. And wherever I think I'm okay, I'm going to use my elbows to pull and find that space between where my hips are giving up. And then I'm not going to use my upper back to stretch down. I'm going to stay here, drop my neck down, stay here for 5 breaths. So inhale, exhale, and 2, 3. For those of you who are flexible, you can go all the way. 4 and 5. And inhale to rise up, spine straight, look up, exhale, lift up, all the way up, and release. If this felt good, we're going to do one more round with another variation. Now for the next variation, I want you to lift your left foot. I'm going to start from the left foot. Lift from your left foot, place it at the base of your right leg. If that's not possible, you could place it on your knee. And we're going to do the same thing again. So inhaling, arms up, exhaling, inhaling, arms up, finding that length in my spine. I'm going to exhale, start bending from my hip, go all the way as far down as I can, and catch hold of my toe and be here. So again, if you need to use a belt or an old t-shirt, you can stay here. And from here, I'm going to lift, find that length in my spine, and exhale, and I'm going to drop down and stay here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, even if you want to be here without the belt, it's okay. 3, 4, and 5. And from here, I'm going to inhale, rise up, exhale, release, and do it on the other side. So finding my space in my hips, my sit bones, I'm going to place my right leg at the base of the left one or on the knee. Inhale to rise up, find that length in my spine, and start bending forward as far down as I can. And wherever is my limit, I'm going to inhale, look up, straighten my spine, and exhale to drop down. And 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And And inhale to rise up, exhale to release. We're gonna do one last stretching and then we close the class. So for this stretching, I want you to lie down on your back. Now this is again something that you can use throughout your day whenever you're feeling your shoulders are tired from sitting down on your office desk. Place a block or 2 books just underneath your neck and drop your neck. So notice they're almost where my shoulders are, just underneath your neck. Yep. And drop your neck and drop your arms to the side. And you would notice that this has caused an arch in my upper back, and this is usually the opposite of what happens when you're lying on a chair, when you're sitting down on a chair. When you're sitting on a chair for too long, you kind of end up doing this posture and working. So this is kind of reversing it. So any time of the day that you feel like you're too overwhelmed and your neck and upper back is cramping up, you can use it. So we're going to stay here for a few breaths, but I recommend that you stay here for longer. You can keep your feet folded, you can stretch them out straight, or you could keep them in a folded prayer pose like so that your hips are also actively opening up. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. And if you feel like challenging yourself even more, you can increase the height. Now, if you're using books, you can obviously increase it to 3 books or 4 books. And the more height you have here, the more your shoulders or the upper thoracic is going to open up. So you can go on increasing the height here and keep opening up the back further up. And keep actively pushing down from your hips to get the lumbar as close to the ground as possible, so that you get a nice reverse back bend on the upper back. And whenever you're ready, you can rise up and find the space to sit up straight with your back absolutely straight, your shoulders roll back away from the ears and your spine erect. And from here we're going to chant Om 3 times. Inhale and then exhaling. Om would be divided into 3 parts: A, U, Ma. A should come from your stomach, U should come from your chest, and Ma would be with the mouth closed and a little bit of humming. So it would feel mostly around your head. So we'll chant Om 3 times. Remember the A, U, Ma, where it's coming from. So inhale. Two more times. Inhale. Last one time, inhale. And rub your palms. Bring the warmth of the palms to the eyes and your face and your neck. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed this class, and we'll see you next week for another class on Homeschool with Hafele. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. Bye.